Namaskar, Dr. Lakshmi. This is Harmanjeet Rekhi, and what a pleasure it is to be on this particular session with you. I've always had this inkling to be associated with higher conscious spiritual beings as yourself. But today, I'm so glad that I've got this chance, and I'm so glad that you have agreed to be on this particular show. So, thank you so much for accepting this invitation. And before we begin the talk about our topic, I'd like to introduce myself. I am Harmanjeet Rekhi. I'm an ex-merchant navy officer. Uh, I've sailed for about 21 years plus, and in 2014 I started a small little farm in Uttarakhand. And 2019, eventually, the natural progression was to start selling those products. So we ended up creating a few SKUs of skincare, a few tisanes, and we started with exporting our products to Muscat, Bhutan. And over the years, Bhutan and other Himalayan regions that I visited, there was a lot of, I would say, ancient wisdom that I collected. It just so happened. And today, we are on the verge of creating a community for ladies, for women who are entering or already in the menopausal stage.
Right.
And this particular talk that we are having with you is basically around that topic. So I wish to have a more Vedic, a more spiritual aspect of menopause, not really into the medical aspects of it, but higher aspects of why has nature created this phase? What were we doing 5,000 years ago for this? And how should women accept this change that is occurring in their bodies and minds? So thank you so much. And I would just request, please introduce yourself also for the benefit of our audience.
Yes. So first of all, I express my heartfelt gratitude for the humble invitation, and I feel totally privileged to be a part of this insightful session where we will be sharing our own experiences and insights through the journey. I think
Yes.
life is all about a learning process where we are continuously learning, grooming, and upscaling ourselves towards understanding the different aspects of what life has to offer us. So,
True.
as an introduction, let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Lakshmi Ajoy. I work as a best-selling author, a holistic spiritual healer, and a life coach here with an intention to bring about a positive transformation in the lives of people. And
Right.
my aim and mission has also always been with the intention to bring about positive, transformative changes in the lives of people, considering the fact that I personally come from a background of having suffered multiple autoimmune conditions like vitiligo, osteoarthritis, low blood pressure, irritable bowel syndrome, fibromyalgia, and these are just to name a few. So, having come across from a stage where I was popping 18 pills a day to being a homemaker, doing nothing with absolutely no mission or vision in life, to curating a life where I transform myself positively through the different learnings that I encountered during the journey. So I have taken my experiences and trainings in different modalities of holistic spiritual healing, which includes being a Reiki grandmaster, having my training in advanced neuro linguistic programming, sound healing, tarot reading, angel healing, numerology, Vastu, and Indian flower remedies, naturopathy, past life regression, and these are just again to name a few.
Oh,
With this transition, I realized that I could also become a solo traveler, so I embarked on several solo traveling journeys. So from having a broken back, I have scaled to the Himalayan mountains. I have done the Kailash Parikrama, and I've also been blessed to do the Everest Base Camp and several other mountains in the Himalayas. So I feel absolutely privileged to have been taken and chosen in this path to be able to uplift other peoples by hand holding them, supporting them in this journey, and thereby being able to see remarkable changes in their lives as well.
right.
From being bedridden to scaling the Himalayan mountains was not an easy task.
It's not the easy
But
thing. That's not an
because I
easy thing.
was able to do it, I was also of the opinion that since I have been able to do it, I'm sure that we can offer a blueprint to other people to scale their lives and make it
Right.
positive as well. So
Wow.
that's
That's
about.
commendable, I must say. That's really commendable. And that's inspirational, actually. So that motivates me to probably take a few cues from you and do it myself. I've been really dreaming of uh, doing it with my son. He's 6 years of age, so I wanted to put him into trekking and then eventually to mountaineering.
Right.
And yes, we will be able to take a lot of cues from you for this. I'm so glad that we connected and we really had the chance to actually speak it through.
Yes.
Uh, Dr. Lakshmi, one way of looking at this particular phase in women's life is it's her problem.
Yes.
And that's what we hear mostly.
Right.
Family members, I would say brothers, husbands, sons,
And the
let's
women.
not go any far. It's her problem. All throughout her life, every other being's problems were her problems. And all of a sudden, when she requires hand holding, it automatically becomes her problem. What is your perspective on onset of perimenopause and menopause in women?
All right. So, as an introduction, let me first begin by giving an insight into what exactly perimenopause and menopause is. Okay. So, perimenopause is the beginning or a transitional phase of a woman in her life where she transitions herself from being a full-fledged woman who is capable of giving birth and delivering and handling kids to a
Right.
transition stage of going to a kind of retirement in her life where she takes a break from being able to conceive anymore. So,
Mm.
perimenopause is that transitional stage in a woman, which finally then leads to menopause. A lot of people have this misconception that it is probably a disease,
Yes.
but it is actually not a disease, it is just a phase of life. And it is
Right.
absolutely a normal transition which occurs in every woman's life.
True.
Now, the moment people begin to perceive or look at it from a point of view where it is considered as a taboo topic, as a disease, that is when all the limitations come in. In our
Yes.
society, so advanced in technology, where we are talking about great discoveries happening around us, our mindset has still not reformed itself to accept this as a normal transitional phase of life.
Uh,
Now, why as women we struggle or go through this phase is because of the lack of awareness.
Lack
Now,
of knowledge.
yeah.
Yes. True.
So, this is for everybody, not exclusively for women. It is for everybody to know, even the children of the house, anybody who is of understandable age, to know and realize that this is a phase which occurs in every woman's life. It is a knowledge insight where we need to know and understand what exactly the woman goes through in this process.
Right.
So, in a woman's life, the perimenopause normally, considering the 21st century and the advanced developments and the kind of stress and the kind of lifestyle that we lead, the food that we eat, so many other factors, it is now seen that perimenopause begins in a woman anywhere around her late 30s also.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, earlier, women used to have this phase in her 50s. But as the times have gone by and we say that we are progressing, actually we are in regressing in terms of our health, emotions, and mental
Absolutely.
status.
Absolutely.
That.
Absolutely.
So this phase, yes, go ahead, sir.
And what has started to happen is that people have decided to marry late, have kids later, and as a result, you have about so many a major portion of the society who thinks it's okay to have or plan a child after you're 38, 39, 40. But by that time, perimenopause has already started to set in.
Right.
So the difficulties in conceiving have started to be bigger. We see a lot of skin issues in such people. Why? Because they start to have estrogen shots. They have hormonal replacement therapies. As a result, there is a vast variation, a very big variation in estrogen levels. When you're on the pill, when you are having those medications, your estrogen levels are very high.
Right.
The moment you stop, they drop so much.
Right.
Now, one more thing, Dr. Lakshmi, is there a very defined way to know that you've entered perimenopause or it's a subtle onset? Is there a very definitive line between perimenopause and menopause, or it's
Yes.
again the onset starts to be heavier and heavier?
Right. So, like I mentioned, that this phase begins generally by late 30s sometimes, or generally it is around the 40s or mid 40s when the transitional phase begins. Like I mentioned, that menopause as a condition or as a phase in a woman's life is when a woman has not experienced her menstrual cycle for a period of a minimum of 12 months.
Right.
That is when she has attained menopause and she is no more capable of bearing a child.
Right.
That is menopause. It is a natural final transition in a woman's life where she is not able to conceive anymore. Two hormones play a major role in this phase, which is estrogen and progesterone.
Right.
Both these hormones have a major role to play in the transition. So there are fluctuations. The follicular production, there are fluctuating levels of follicular production. There are hormonal imbalances. These are what goes or happens inside of us.
Right.
On the outside, there are very subtle as well as specific symptoms which will help us understand that we are now into this phase of experiencing either the perimenopause or menopause.
Menopause.
Right.
Right.
So some of the symptoms which I've kind of mentioned and written down so that we don't miss out on anything is one is having hot flashes or night sweats at
Right.
night. Suddenly you wake up and your entire sleep pattern is imbalanced. You may start suffering from insomnia. You may start feeling sleepy at random times during the day because you haven't slept well at night.
Right.
So this is like a interconnected kind of
Right.
situation. So hot flashes, night sweats. Another thing that can be majorly seen is mood swing. And people look upon it as being, I mean, come on, you constantly seem to be getting angry these days. You're not bothered or concerned about the family. But it is actually a hormonal transition which the woman is experiencing and unable to express herself. So the mood changes happen. Then happens that there could be libido changes, as in low sex drive or higher sex drive, which also includes vaginal dryness, which leads to pain during intercourse and intimacy and things like that. There could be, difficulty concentrating, or there could be a brain fog or loss of memory for a temporary phase. Just like to give you a subtle example, if you enter the kitchen with an intention of taking something from the fridge, you open the fridge door and then your brain is absolutely fogged. You're just watching the fridge with the door open, not knowing what to pick. Why did
Yes.
you even open it in the first place? So that is an instance of a brain fog or a short-term, memory loss that can happen. It could
Right.
also be forgetfulness, like you may have forgotten to switch on or turn off the gas, or take the key from home and just slam the door and then realize the key is left inside. Small little things, but they are those, you need to look out for these signs and symbols. The other one could also be a gentle changes in your physical body, which means you may start seeing thyroid as a condition which may start to happen. There could be, lower metabolic changes, which leads to either excess of weight loss or excess weight gain. Yes.
Yes.
And for people, women particularly, having a sedentary lifestyle, not actively involved in any kind of physical activities, may find that, without making or bringing about any changes in their regular pattern, they are beginning to see a weight gain. And there are flabby fat protrusions, and the women may begin to feel a little uncomfortable in her own skin.
Right.
Okay. And then there is a natural transition in the way she appears. So graying of hair and the skin becomes a little dull. And there could be a beginning of, the wrinkles that are about to be seen. And
Pigmentation.
yeah, all of those kind of changes in the
To
physical
happen,
appearance.
your jaw starts to lose shape. You start to
Right.
have these sagging skin on your cheeks.
Yes. Yes.
So yes, of course, that really brings on the onset, I would say, in symptomatic way.
Right.
And what is happening now is the woman who's going through this, she is confused that what is happening to me all of a sudden.
Right.
Why am I forgetful? So now, the moment you turn to the medical side of it, the Western medicine will start to cure you for the symptoms. So
Right.
you've got neurologists, you've got urologists, you've got endocrinologists, you've got all the other
Gynecologist also maybe.
gynecologists, all the fields, but nobody is able to guide you about all this. That
Right.
okay, it's fine, it's fine. So that's why there's no particular person who specializes in menopausal issues.
Right.
I've been reading in the West, especially in Australia, New Zealand, US. You've got courses where any person from the medical field can actually become a helper, a healer for menopausal issues. And that's exactly what we are trying to do in this community. We are trying to gather as many voices, as many experts, as many panelists to have these conversations, to at least give out the information that don't worry, it's not something wrong with you. This is a phase of life.
Right.
For some people, the symptoms may just be about 20 or 30 symptoms. For some people, the symptoms list could go up to about, let's say, 55, 56, even more.
Right.
For some people, it will last just about a couple of years, maybe 5, 6 years. But for some people, it can be a period of up to 12 years, 13 years,
Right.
considering perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause.
Yeah.
So this gives us a good reason to have a community like this.
Absolutely. Uh,
Now, sorry.
yeah. Um, some of the other symptoms also includes, aches in the joint, muscular
Hmm.
muscle inflammation, and some people may also begin to see a deterioration in their bone health, which leads to
Yes,
other conditions like osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, and the likes.
yes,
Some other major or very prominent causes also is like the premenstrual syndrome or the PMS symptoms, which means lower abdominal ache or some ache around the genitals, or there could be like digestive or bowel issues, which
right.
could also be seen. Some bloating, as may be seen, or acidity, or sleepy, feeling tired and weak and wanting
Hmm.
to more. So many symptoms. But these are all the subtle changes. The first thing, what is needed in this entire scenario is the awareness.
Yes, true,
And
very
it
true.
all begins with knowing and understanding that this is a regular part of your life and
Right,
becoming aware and being prepared for it. So the
right,
awareness helps you to prepare for what is to come. If you're not
true.
prepared and it hits you like a tsunami,
Hmm.
we are going to be totally
It's
disturbed
a
and
scary
it
situation.
goes on
It's a
not
scary situation that what's all of a sudden started to happen to me. I mean, till last month or last week, I was okay, and now all this. And this is very important for the family members to understand that, of course, these changes will be coming in her. So don't start to, I would say, isolate her, and don't start to make her feel guilty for all this.
or even judge her for that matter.
Judge her for that matter.
Because all
So,
these years, as a woman, she has been serving the family. And one fine
yes,
day, because she is unable to, because of her mental emotional imbalances and the internal hormonal changes that she's experiencing, we cannot sideline and judge her that, for somebody who has done so much for the family, one fine day suddenly becomes anti to a family. That is not the thing. So
yeah.
I think it totally begins with awareness. So awareness helps to, I wouldn't say that, it kind of takes you away from all these issues. It just prepares you to be equipped better to handle the emotions in a better way.
And it basically, I would say, it empowers you to accept these changes
Yes,
mindfully and with knowledge. You
right,
know,
right. So,
the other I was having a word with. I mean, similar video. We were having it with a couple who's a dentist couple, and they said, Harman, what happens in this stage of life with women is that they start to complain that their teeth are growing longer. It's not that their teeth are becoming longer, it's that the gums have started to recede.
proceed, right,
So then again, you see, something like this, if nobody talks about, then this becomes a topic of concern. But if you know that these things are going to happen, and very frankly, all this information, the information about the dentistry, the information about bone health, the information about, let's say, urology, is all scattered.
absolutely,
So what we are trying to do is we are trying to gather everything together under the same umbrella. You become a part of this community and you start to be knowledgeable about everything.
absolutely.
Not only knowledgeable, but also how to resolve
Very
things.
true. Very true. I think awareness is obviously the first step towards
First step.
understanding how your
True.
body is going to react and so on. So, Harmanji, you would know that I am a woman in my mid 40s.
Right.
Okay. So, having been through this phase, fortunately, by the grace of God, I still haven't really begun to see symptoms of perimenopause. Reason being the positive mindset and the outlook, which kind of helps to delay the process in an individual's life. So, the more
Right.
stress you take, the kind of lifestyle changes that you may have, sleeping patterns, the food that you eat, all
Yes.
of this is ultimately going to decide how you are going to enter this phase also.
True.
So
Very true.
it is important for a woman to understand that if she maintains and loves herself enough, takes enough care of her own body, mind, and soul in absolute equilibrium, the beginning of the symptom itself will be delayed to her mid 40s, maybe even late
True.
40s, which then
True.
becomes easy for the body to handle because then the strength is restored within the body. Your muscles don't begin to start inflammation or begin to grow weaker. Your bones are still strong because you're working out, you're eating the right kind of food, you're sleeping well enough to be
Right.
experiencing a regular mindful state and so on. So because your body is relaxed, it does not jump into the phase of perimenopause too soon.
Very true.
So
And
that
now,
is
Dr. Lakshmi,
correct.
if we go back to our Vedic system, if we go back to our ancestry, if we go back, how how we were dealing with these things 5,000 years back,
Right.
there
Uh,
was a concept
it
of
was a
Brahman.
very scientific way or
Yes,
approach how
absolutely.
the ancestors looked at the way of life.
Yes.
Women were
Yes.
given equal or more importance, and it was not a patriarchal society as we see it today in the world.
Today.
So,
Yes.
where everybody had their own responsibilities and roles to play, and people exactly knew, they were aware of what's coming and what is to happen. So it was
Hmm.
a very beautiful scientifically structured pattern of the way of life. So if you look at it, I would call the perimenopause and the menopause as the sannyasa ashram phase of life, where you have done away with the responsibilities, gone through the brahmacharya ashrama, where you're practicing, brahmacharya or monkhood, learning different things, imbibing and educating yourself, taking in the wisdom and knowledge, and then entering the grihastha ashrama where you are into a phase of where do we say that you're taking care of your children, your household, working, earning for the family. Then comes the vanaprastha ashrama where you are visiting different places of spiritual interest, gradually trying to complete your responsibility towards the family where the children are all now well settled in their own life. And finally coming to the sannyasa ashrama stage where you are now able to kind of take a retirement from all of life, begin to be more mindful of your own self, and focus towards the higher spiritual aspects towards attaining liberation, because that is what people had looked up for in those days, and they knew the exact science behind and how to approach it, which is why they considered this as an important aspect of life. The struggle that we go through, the different symptoms that the body creates or causes during this phase, the different hormonal changes, the pain, the excess or the lack of bleeding, the PMS symptoms, the weakness in the bones, all of that was your body's way of saying that you need to slow down, and there
Yes.
are
True.
better ways to deal with it by taking in the right kind of food, by
Hmm.
sleeping and resting enough, by meditating, focusing on the self rather than, putting additional efforts towards working for others. So it was a phase or a condition which was the body kind of just gave hints about that you need to now take a break, relax, rest, so that you can transition into the higher requirements that life is to offer you. And this was not just for women, even men experienced
Absolutely. I
it.
was about to say that it was men also knew that his spouse is entering this phase. So of course he was also mindful of this particular thing, and at the same time the whole environment in the family would be such. If you remember, there were a couple of texts that you read. Everybody, including the husband, including the grandchildren, they used to start calling the lady as Ma,
Right.
right? Because she was donning that avatar, I would say.
Right.
You know. So now what has started to happen is that we've again started to go back to this 5,000-year-old legacy of ours, and we've concocted something called as a grandma's hypothesis. Grandma's hypothesis is that this is a phase where the lady is donning the role of a grandmother.
Right.
Grandmother, not literally the grandmother, but grandmother.
Right.
Now there is another theory which says that only a few species in the animal kingdom they go through menopause. Otherwise, most of the species they would keep reproducing till the last day of their lives.
Yes.
Whales and human beings, they are considered as the most motherly figures in the animal kingdom.
Right.
And this is exactly why we have been selected by Mother Nature to guide our future generations, to guide our offsprings into something. So she is basically donning a bigger role. And exactly, if you start to connect the dots, the Vedic system was very, very established in this phase, very established in this phase.
Absolutely. So that awareness is our outlook should be to bring back that awareness in the
Yes.
mindset of people, considering the fact that they are deviating way too much from what is essential of our core system, the values that contained within the Indian, the culture and the religion, the region as a whole was so much advanced that people exactly knew how to transition through, and we are working together with an intention to bring back that awareness so that people can support themselves and lead a better quality life, I would say.
अभी क्या हो गया ना मैम, if I may put it a little simply, we are never behaving our age. A
Right.
10-year-old wants to behave like a 20-year-old.
True.
A 20-year-old wishes to go back to what he or she was behaving as a 12-year-old, right?
True.
अच्छा, उसके बाद when you are married, then you want to do the things that you wanted to be doing in college.
Exactly.
When you have kids, you still want to be doing things that you were doing in bachelorhood.
Right. Right.
And if you see the society now, when you are grandparents, you still wish to be doing things what you were doing as a newly married person, है ना?
Right. Very
So
true.
अभी क्या है, अभी बहुत hodgepodge हो गया है. So now the structure has been disrupted,
True.
and as a result, what has started to happen is that the confusion is growing because
Right.
we've forgotten that the DNA has not changed in the past about 200 years. The DNA would change in the next about 3,000 years.
Very
So
true.
till the time you have this DNA, till the time you have this structural pattern of onset of menopause at a certain age, the onset of low libido in males, so as to promote them or so as to push them towards spirituality, that thing is not there anymore. So now what we are doing is we are taking the leverage of modern medicine, as they say,
Yeah.
so as to do the things that we want to do at varied stages in life.
So one observation which I have through this whole aspect is that modern medicine is only a temporary recourse.
Yes.
It doesn't give you a permanent or a deeper solution to the whole aspect, and it only covers the outer, the symptoms which are occurring in
Simple.
the body. The
True.
symptomatic effects is what the medicines do, but deep down it is the inner work, your awareness. How do you work through and help deal with it in a better way is what is going to give you the ultimate solution towards a better quality living, because
Right.
medicines always have their side effects. They would always have their, anything which comes as a compound of chemical being put into your body is the kind of a toxin which you're introducing to the body, which is actually kind of suppresses the symptoms at the surface level, but it does not
Right.
address the root cause of what is.
True.
So,
True.
with natural ingredients, with natural practice, is where we kind of bring or come about with a coherence with nature
Hmm.
and understand ourselves better, because man or human as a species, or in fact every living kind or living being, were once upon a time not living in flats or palaces
True.
or these things.
True.
They were out in the open, connected
Yes.
directly with nature.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Obviously, we are nature beings. We
Ah,
are part of the elements that connects us to the greater forms of what life is meant to give in us. So all we talk about the five elements of nature, which is like fire, air, space, earth, and water, right? But are we truly, and we are made up of composed of these five elements as a whole, but are we actually realizing our composition? Are we working towards bringing about a balance of this composition in our body? Now these are some things which half the people are not even aware of. The awareness
True.
is just about to begin. And when we talk about this transitional phase or the perimenopause or the menopause or whatever, with the connection with Mother Nature, because nature has its own gift, which is always there in abundance to be offered to us.
True.
We in turn are not looking, and in fact, we are kind of misusing the resources which Mother Nature has given us and not making optimum use of what needs to be taken from there. So when we become aligned with the connections of nature, the elements of nature, we become one with it. And that is how they say, I am because you are. Then we see the oneness of everything that exists around us, whether they are living or non living, whether they are existential or non existential, things that you can see and not see, because everything is energy. And that is
True.
the ultimate, what do we say, the truth consciousness and bliss.
There's a very nice saying that you are a microcosm of a macrocosm.
Absolutely.
Macrocosm is the universe. Macrocosm is the earth, Mother Earth. We are just a part of her. So unless and until we start to believe in nature being the ultimate power, we are not going to reach anywhere. आप चाहे जितना मर्जी ये खा पी लो. The other day, there was one particular official who asked me. He says, "Acha, you've got these products of yours, and these are all natural." I say, "Yes, these are forest derived under the category of non-timber forest derived products." So he says, "इसकी certification कहाँ है?"
Okay.
I say, "How do you certify nature?
Hmm.
What label or what tag will you give to nature? What tag will you give to a forest that has been standing for the past 50,000 years?
Or even more, perhaps.
You can't.
Yeah.
How will you tag or certify a mountain और उसका जो spring उसमें से पानी आ रहा है उसको आप क्या tag दोगे?
बिल्कुल.
How do you define that as special?
Very true.
So, considering this, all that we have spoken, and we have really touched very deeply on so many aspects of it, uh, ma'am, if there are two crux points that we need to extract from this whole conversation, what would they be?
I think some of the most important things that one needs to be mindful about in this journey is one is to become aware.
Right.
Second one is to work towards that awareness, knowing well that your body is the ultimate home that you will carry till the end of this journey. So taking
Alya,
care of
जैसे
this
बोलते हैं.
home,
Hmm.
मतलब हाँ, टेकिंग केयर ऑफ दिस होम विच इज द परमानेंट होम, आप अपना घर शिफ्ट कर लोगे, लेकिन ये बॉडी टिल द एंड ऑफ योर जर्नी कैन नॉट बी शिफ्टेड. You
Right.
are given this particular soul in this particular lifetime is given this one body, and we need to
Right.
take care of it. And
Right.
once that is achieved, that you work diligently towards taking extreme care by pampering it, by knowing that this is essential for us to lead towards the very end of our journey, we then become, see the transition in a very beautiful phase. We are able to sail through it despite the struggles and the real challenges that we may encounter during this journey.
That's a very beautiful word that you mentioned, pampering. And this probably is the time that people should start to pamper their bodies. You see, when you've done enough in life, when you've really had the runabouts, when you have really done everything for everybody, and there comes a point in life when your body starts to demand that think about me now, think about yourself.
Right.
When you need to look at your own happiness, not everybody else's. So that's what pampering is all about. And wonderful conversation, Dr. Lakshmi. Now, before we, I would say, as we say, sign off. So before we sign off, we'll we'll agree on one thing. I would definitely want to do that. That let's keep creating such meaningful videos,
Absolutely.
and let's keep creating more awareness.
Right.
It's a beautiful concept. It's a beautiful word. But as long as somebody is making the effort, this wheel is not going to turn by itself. So, thank you so much for joining in today. It was remarkable that we documented all this information in a video, and we're going to structure it in a way that we keep coming out with more videos like this, and we will keep documenting more and more issues, more and more topics. So, thank you, and looking forward for the next video with you.
Truly privileged and honored to be a part of this show where I was able to share a part of my own life experiences for the world to know and grow together so that we build a community that's healthy, happy, and forever in absolute peace and joy. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much.